We go to Tuskegee and find out what's going on the women's side of things. And Emanuel Stephens, the pride of Georgia Southwestern University.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you doing?
All right, good to have a Kane on the show here, and I know that as someone who is you grew up here in the state of Georgia, and you know what soccer has been doing as it has grown. You've been on a bunch of different levels, NAIA, a couple of NCAA D, and then you add numbers after that. You've made the tour. You know what the sport has done. You know what the sport has been growing into. Why did you think you were going to apply for the job at Tuskegee, and what I guess what's the why here, Coach Stephens?
So it's actually been something that they've been talking about for a while. So I have one of my best friends is the track coach, Coach Jones, now Coach Easterling. And so she had told me, a few years back that they were thinking about it. And so it's intriguing, right? The historic nature of Tuskegee, hearing about it, knowing, people that went there. And then just seeing how well she's been doing there. She's won everything that you can win in the SIAC. And so, so she sparked the interest. And then, the AD is all, hey, he's great at what he does. We'll just put it that way. So when speaking to him, it was a done deal. After that, you knew you had to come. Right? So he sold it very well. They've been very supportive. The president has really made this a mission that he wanted to have men's and women's soccer, and so they're really trying to help us be successful.
All right. So what can you say about the conversation that was had with the athletic director when you're being recruited, so to speak, about this? What can you tell me? What was the fire and brimstone like when the two of you were behind a closed door?
It was real simple, right? He told me what was going to happen, and so it was like, hey, well then that's that, So I think his personality. His willingness to, want to be successful, you can feel that. So every time you speak to him, he's just he has no off switch. Right, so it's straight. You know where he stands when he stands for something, and so I believed it. And like I said, already having some insight just because of Coach Jones and how she's done there. And she already gave me some heads up about him, and so it was really simple in that sense.
And for those that may not know, we're talking about Reginald Ruffin, who is the VP of Intercollegiate Athletics and Athletic Director there, and he's done a lot of great work in improvement of facilities and things like that. How much of a soccer person was Coach Ruffin going into this? Did he know a lot about it, or did he just understand its place and know that it's important as it has been growing here in the United States as a sport?
Oh no, he'll tell you he doesn't know anything about the game, and those things. He knows I guess the biggest part about it is winning, right? Mm-hmm. He wants to win. So, I think those type of things he's done really well with just leaving that up to me and Coach Tarpley on the men's side, and then just trusting that we know what we're talking about. So one thing I like about him is he doesn't try to get hands on. He lets you do your job, and then there's consequences to that, right? So your expectations that come with that. So he'll tell you that as well, and so I think in that sense. So knowing the game, I've met really many ADs who know soccer, as a sport, besides just it's a sport. But he knows that he doesn't know that part of it, but wanting to support and willingness to learn. So he asks a lot of questions.
So when you and Coach Tarpley, how do you compare notes? Do you guys how many times do you guys break bread there and sit there and compare notes about, well, my day was like this, and my day was like this. Oh, did I learn this from you? Oh, what'd you learn? Do you guys share notes at all?
Right now, no, just because it's just been so busy, right? So him trying to put his team together, his staff, and then me trying to do the same. You know, Tuskegee has its challenges with just academics, and so that's the first thing they care about, right? So some places you go to schools and you're able to get players in who may not be the best academically and all those things. Tuskegee they don't play with that one. So we've just really been focusing on trying to get the right fit. And we'll see. We'll see real soon how well we did.
When it comes to recruiting, how much of a challenge has it been for you to do something from the ground up because of what you're trying to create? And is it yeah, I want to come and be a part of something from ground zero, or are you having to convince, or is it somewhere in between?
First, I think challenge is strong. It's been exciting, right? So it's been fun, but yes, there's times where you question, right? Did you make the right decision, right? Because yeah, I think when you're trying to tell somebody that's something that they can, when they go online before, they couldn't find a website, didn't see anything. There was no nothing, right? So it was like, well, are you being truthful? And then when you talk to people and they know Tuskegee by academics and all those type of things. But then you tell them you're going to have soccer, and they're like, well, we know they've never had soccer. Right? So I think that became a little challenging. But things like this, have helped, right? And they're going to continue to help. And then obviously when we step on the field on the 29th, it becomes real. I think those things helps it well. But the players, believing the players that we have that are coming in, the 22 that we have coming in, they all believed, and now their clubs and their high schools, know that Tuskegee has a women's soccer program.
Coach Tarpley is going the way of local. United States, for the most part, saved 5 of his 32. He's a firm believer in ECNL and MLS Next. How are you building your side?
Yeah, so we're all from 11 states. So all the girls that come from 11 different states. So we're all, we didn't bring in the Indian Nationals just for different reasons for this year. Obviously, we still will recruit, and that'll be a part as we move on. But yeah, no, it was, I think Atlanta has the biggest population of players from us right now. We're there. So it was, I think at the beginning it was a little bit more challenging to try to get people to come on board and things of that nature. But I think it's become a lot easier. And ECNL and GA, all those things are a part of. I was just out in California for the GA event, and so yeah, I think as we move on, we'll be getting players in at those levels, which we have some now as well. But yeah,
I mean, what the sport means in the state of Georgia. You've grown up here. You know what it's mean. It grows in the Midwest, especially when it comes to women's soccer. Did your phone, when you were named and they took the picture, it's like, I don't know if it was like it is in social media where they take the social media picture of the player who signs the contract overseas, and it's like you're smiling in the camera, you have the pen that's hovering over the contract, and you're not signing the contract yet. It's not like one of those photos. But did your phone blow up the instant that you were named to the gig? Did your phone blow up?
I'm very I'm getting better with doing things like this, right? So I'm very quiet and this. I didn't really let many people know, and so it was more so just trying to get myself acclimated with the school. And so then the school finally did a article and things of that nature. So I just had a little bit more things to work with compared to just doing it and people calling, texting. So it was a process. I guess that's the best way to say it. It was more of a process of how. So when it did come out, I was able to really. We already had 1 or 2 players already committed by then, and then now it was we'll start to post those, and then it was able to just go a lot quicker. So that's the way I did it.
Because you're not just looking for a player, you're looking for a special individual, because they've got to understand that this is starting from zero. This is starting from scratch. You're in the kitchen and you're trying to find the ingredients in the fridge, and you're going shopping and you're trying to figure it out from there. What kind of individual are you looking for? And I mean on the field and off, because you mentioned the academics that are a part of this. But what kind of an individual are you looking for internally that is going to represent Tuskegee well, represent what you want for the program, what Coach Ruffin wants for athletics? What kind of individual are you looking for to be a part of things there at Tuskegee?
Yeah, so obviously first right now, a player had to be willing to take a risk, right? Coming into a place was, you're going to be the first. And so a big question was, well, are you going to be competitive, and how are those type of things? So the whole recruiting process for me, listen, the expectation is to come in and compete. And so I want a player who is willing to do the work, right? Who's going to work hard. If you look at this World Cup, you see there was teams who, if they just competed, then they will be, it'll be fine. You can put in those things. So we want hardworking players. So players who will do those things. I know you switched up on me.
That's all good. You're in charge here.
Yeah. So yeah, we just want players who are willing to commit, and understand that we're trying to build the program first, and then obviously as we go on, then there'll be different type of things that we'll look for, because then we'll know what pieces that we'll need to bring in as we move on. So this year was a little bit different in recruiting. Obviously, you want always character based and all those type of things. It's a little bit more challenging because you don't have, and when you have a team already, you can bring your recruits and they'll come in, they'll meet the players that's already on the team. And then the players will give you some insights. Coach, when we were together on this recruiting, this player, we don't think their player will fit. Well, now you just bring in people, you're trying to see if you can get everybody to fit together. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun to see who people really are. When you talk to people in the recruiting calls, everybody is in their best, right? They want to make sure they show that, hey, listen, we want to come here and play. We're going to really put in the work. We're going to do all this type of things. So we'll see who's been really doing our summer packet, who's really been working out. So all those things should be fun as we go together.
What is your expectation for year one?
Yeah, so I tried not to put too much burden on any of us, right? But like I said, we already spoke about the AD. His expectations for us to go out and win games. Now, winning two is there's a lot in those things, right? Obviously, we want to win every game that we play, but we'll be playing some teams who will give us more challenges and things of that nature. But the biggest part is competing. Is when you leave the game, you know that you played in the game. And I think that's where we really want to make sure that we are showing up every game, right? Because in theory, some people put us on the schedule because we're a first-year program. And that's fine. I understand. And I probably would have done the same. But, we want to make sure that we're competing. And I try not to get caught up in styles and those type of things, as this year. And when we move on, we'll have a brand of way we play. But this year is really going to be figuring out what type of standard we can set playing wise as well. All right. So there's parts of this. There's on the field, there's in the classroom, and then there's how people are in the community and all those type of things. So if we can bring all those three things together, then I think we'll be able to build a quality program for years to come.
What's it like to be a part of the growth of the sport within the ideas of an HBCU? Because we're seeing it at South Carolina State, it's at Albany State, and it's now there at Tuskegee. What's it like to be able to do this also to add to the legacies within HBCU framework?
Yeah, so I was in the SWAC for a lot of years, and just seeing the growth that the SWAC is making. So I just right before I got on this, I just looked at Alcorn. For instance, Alcorn, they're going to play University of North Carolina this year, which is for the HBCU sector is massive now. And so I applaud him for doing those things. When I was at A&M, we wouldn't play Auburn, Mississippi State. So you're seeing HBCUs getting to be able to play on those platforms. Now it's just, can we get the players who can play at those levels, right? And so I think that's the beauty of it, is just seeing the coaches that are at HBCUs right now putting in work to build their programs and getting better. And then challenging and ourselves with that, because our conference, in the past, just didn't get the same respect as other conferences. And so only way you could do that is going out and playing teams that people feel that they're better than you and all those things. But yeah, so I like where it's going. We still have obviously a long way to go. But having Tuskegee come into that is going to be a big thing. So now they have more opportunities to play college soccer.
How difficult is it to navigate a first-year build because of what is going on in intercollegiate athletics with NIL, and then you have the trickle down, and signing day wasn't what signing day now isn't what signing day used to be, and you have athletes kind of waiting, and then it's like, well, if A, then B, instead of just getting the straight up, okay, I'm coming, end of story. How difficult is it to navigate a startup with all of these other things going on in and around intercollegiate athletics?
Yeah, so I feel that it's an interesting topic, right? Because to a certain degree, it doesn't really trickle down to our level.
Okay.
Now that being at the D2 level, and even when I was in the SWAC, I think where we are, right? So one thing I'm very upfront: we are not them. You're not gonna get those things where we are. Now, hopefully, as we progress and move up and do all those things, then those things start to come down to our level, especially for women's soccer. But yeah, so I really don't have to deal with those issues as much. But there are. I obviously have coaching friends and things of nature who are having to navigate those things. Now, players taking longer to make decisions. I think that's always been the case at the lower levels. Right? Yeah. So just because they have the goals of going to the bigger schools, and then once they see that that's not the case, then they'll come back and say, okay, listen, I can see myself, going to a school, like this or things of that nature. But yeah, it's not as prevalent for us right now.
Yeah, and the reason I asked that as a follow-up is because if there was someone that thought they were worthy of a D1 in other sports, what they've done is they've gone down to 1AA. See, that shows you how old I am. FCS, D2, they prove themselves for a year, and because of the transfer rules, they can hop up. And so that's why I was wondering about the dynamic these days, and I didn't know where it applied and if it applied yet.
Yeah, no, it's happened to some of the players in like I said, in the previous in the SWAC. We've had players who start there and go up. So obviously you can't be mad at a person who wants to challenge themselves and things of that nature. But yeah, so hopefully we're good enough where people even having those thoughts, right? So you got to be able to perform and do well at where you are. So you got to be what they say. Take care where your feet are. You got to be able to do that first. So we got to show that we can play, and then the rest is just what happens.
So the incoming group of student athletes, where are they mostly coming in from?
So like I said, we have 11 states, and so Georgia has the biggest right now, and so we've done well there. The interesting thing is we have one from Alabama. Morgan, so she's the lonely one from Alabama. We had some other ones that just chose I don't know. People from Georgia and other places felt like they believed in it a little bit better, and so. But yeah. So right now, that's the interesting part. So.
Well, where'd you go to high school? Where'd you go to high school?
I went to McEachern High School.
Okay. So, so you would be probably the Dorsey Hockman administration, right?
No. Dorsey. Yeah. You said Dorsey. You put them together.
Yeah.
But Coach Dorsey was. Yeah, Coach Dorsey. I don't know the other. I don't know the other guy.
Yeah, Kyle Hockman, I think Kyle Hockman came in after Jimmy Dorsey, but yeah. So you're a Jimmy Dorsey McEachern Indian.
Yep. Coach Stout. Yeah. All those. Coach Lockridge. Yeah. I'm old now. Yeah.
You're not as old as me. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, yeah, no.
But the idea now. So I was asking. I knew that you were a Georgia/Atlanta high school person, and because of where you have been, because of where you've been, where your feet were, you knew about soccer in the state of Georgia from a high school level. So where are the student athletes coming from inside the state?
So one is Jones Creek.
Okay.
Then we have another one that's from Lassiter High School. So Osborne, Campbell. Those are right there, right there.
You got Cobb County locked down, man. That's what.
Yeah. When the Osborne and the Campbell one, I told them, back in the day, I used to just run y'all schools, but I was like, So yeah. So we have a good amount coming from that area.
Yeah, you get higher classifications, and you're in Cobb County. That's not a bad place to start.
Yeah.
When does everyone report for you?
July 31st. So
So you got a whole 10 days to catch your breath before everybody shows up.
Yeah. So we'll move in, then we'll do physicals, and so then life will really get started.
Okay. When's your first exhibition match?
So the 21st, West Alabama.
Okay. And then your first match. When's that?
Is the 29th, Edward Waters at home.
Okay. And so you have the sum total of 38 days before Edward Waters gets the first one there.
It's a big one, too. It's 2 HBCUs.
Yeah. From Jacksonville, Florida. They're coming up to come and hang out with you. I cannot thank you enough for this. Obviously, we're going to be knocking on your door a lot this year because of it being a first-year program and the cool factor that's attached to it on a bunch of different fronts. We're going to be keeping an eye on you. I can't thank you enough. Do you need a note to get back into class, or are you okay?
No, we're good. We're good. Class don't start till July 31st. Then we'll probably need some notes.
Okay. We'll come up with some on stationery and we'll send them your way. Go get some lunch or go get a late brunch or everything. I can't thank you enough for doing this and for giving us the update on the progress report and everything. We'll be catching up with you soon, Coach. Congratulations. I know the work is just beginning, but we'll catch up with you soon. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. We got to get you some Tuskegee stuff back there.
Look, my wife, aka the boss, she has already said whatever's coming in the house, she's wearing first, and she's an Auburn alumna. That shows you where she's an Auburn alumna, and she's like, whatever stuff is coming in this house, I'm getting it first. And I'm like, and because I'll open a box, someone will send scarves and things, and she'll look at it with me. Oh, she'll go, oh, and I go, I know what that means. Yeah, so that means that she gets it first. But once again, Coach, I can't thank you enough. Very, very cool to catch up. We'll see you soon, my friend.
All right, thank you. Take care.
You bet. Emanuel Stephens, the inaugural women's soccer head coach at Tuskegee. Very, very cool. We made 3 hours.